All right, welcome. In this lab, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how to work with deployment slots, specifically from the using the Azure CLI instead of the portal. So I'm doing this from a Cloud Shell instance, but again, this should just work just as nicely from your local machine. The reason why I'm doing it from a Cloud Shell is so that I have all of my identities in correct order, right? So we're starting off here by creating a new application. We can do that with .NET. I'm just going to create a new application. There we go, and then we can build that. That worked, and now we can deploy it to app service. So I'm going to use AZ web app up for this. We need to give it a name, my app 77777. I need a resource group for this, of course. AZ group create resource group my RG location central US. There we go. So AZ web app up. Name was my app 77777, and then the group is my RG. Additionally, I'm going to say that I want a S1 SKU for my plan, because it's going to implicitly create a app service plan. You can see that it does it right now. And I want to use S1 or have a plan with the S1 SKU in place, partially because that is actually support deployment slots. All right, and you can see that we're done now. Let's just quickly go to the URL to see what our nice application looks like. There we go, it worked. Very nice. So, but this was about deployment slots, right? So let's say we're doing some changes. Over here we have the pages, and then we have the index. So let's say learn about deployment slots, right, with an exclamation mark. That's an important change, and this change is so important. Oops, That was unintended. So this change is so important that we don't want to put it into production immediately. Rather, we want to create a staging slot. We can do that under AZ Web App deployment slot. We have the option to create one. If we list the current one with my app 7777 in group my RG, you can see that there are none. There's just a built-in production slot. So let's create one. I'm gonna keep those options. Oops. But I'm also going to add -h for help. So what we need is the name of the web app, the name of the slot, and then that's it. I think the resource group as well. Yeah, here, down here, resource group. Cool. So let's do that. So create. N was name of the app. G was name of the resource group. And with the name of the slot, I'm going to call it staging. It's not standing, staging. Yeah. So let's next do our changes. So just first making sure that we have everything done in or built. There we go. Everything is built. And now in the pub directory, we can just add everything into web app zip. Like that. Cool. And now we can deploy this using a zip deploy. So we're doing a source deployment source, and config zip is the option. I can just show you what the deployment source options really are here. So we have the possibility to use a repository with config, or then do a git, or then do a config zip, in which case we're using the kudu zip push deployment for the deployment. Might be a little bit, you might want to take a look at kudu. The URL for kudu is available in the portal under the advanced options. Maybe I should show you that. Yeah. So just kind of, in case you haven't seen that before, just try to show you what this looks like. So if you're interested in setting things up, we have advanced tools here under development tools. And this go button here goes to the kudu UI of your app. Here you can see it. And this is, so here we could use a zip push deploy, where we could just upload our zip file. But we wanted to do this using the CLI, right? So instead of using the web page, we are doing something that we can script. So it's going to be AZ web app deployment source config zip, all right, a zip upload. And again, the name of our app was my app 77777. The resource group was my RG. And then the slot is staging. And the source is web app. So I'm just going to use -h here to check if I have everything correct. slot was S, source was src, and then we have the name of the web app, and then the resource group. Cool, that seems to be correct. There we go. Now remember that the staging slot has its own URL, its own host name, my app staging. So let me just go to that one. This is our original one, and here is staging. Just refreshing our this is the production environment, right? It still has learn about building web apps. And the staging environment has learn about deployment slots. So that worked. The original web app is still in place. However, the staging slot has been changed. And now that we're happy with the way that worked, now we can do a slot swap, right? So that works under web app deployment. We have a slot swap command. Here you can see how that works. So we need to say the slot that we're swapping from, and then we can set the target slot that's default is production, but we're going to say it anyway, right? So let's do that. So we're swapping in with the app my app 77777 in the resource group my RG, and the slot that we're swapping from was staging, and the target slot was production. We're now saying it even though that it is what it defaults to. Now it's done. So this is the production website. Let me just refresh that. Now that has the deployment slots, and our staging environment now has the original web app. All right, that's how we work with deployment slots using the CLI. Thanks for listening, and see you in your next lab.